Welcome to the View!
Welcome to the View! Where
I'm channeling Madonna's new album cover.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes.
Except without the other stuff.
Right.
Just with the one.
Right.
Because she's got too much.
Well, you should always take something off, before you leave the house. And I guess Madonna didn't get that message.
She usually takes something off before she leaves the house. Her panties or something.
Money belts. We're talking about apps today.
Oh yeah, apps.
Michael saw Drag My City app, which is an app that helps you find drag shows in a city that
Never
you're visiting.
sleeps.
Or in any city. I guess it could be useful if you're really into drag. And
It's all around the country. And you can go to Boise, Idaho, and it'll tell you where the local drag show is and who the local drag queens are and who the big stars are and when they're performing and everything else.
My concern about those types of apps, because I work at a media company, is that you always need somebody to be pumping in the content on the other end.
Pumping.
So that people could actually have something to look up. And that app, I'm just wondering who's channeling or pumping.
Wait a minute. You think that I don't know, Lady Bunny or whatever isn't going to go home and type in her agenda into Drag My City?
Somehow
at 5 o'clock in the morning after a couple cocktails and whatever else.
Sometimes I think not. No.
Sometimes she might not do that.
No.
Sometimes she might wait till the next morning to do it.
Or maybe the secretary does it.
Lady Bunny's secretary?
Right.
I didn't know Lady Bunny had a secretary.
Don't you?
I had one, and she knows who she is. But we had to part ways as secretaries, but we are secretary and boss man over your friends.
Other apps that we might like to see, we thought have already been invented, but we don't use them.
Well, I always thought that, from the time I was, 5, I wished that there was some way that I could walk by a house and there'd be like a light that flashed if there was somebody in there who wanted to have sex with me. And now, of course...
Lo and behold, there's Scruff.
Yes. But I really thought that if only, because I lived in, South Bend, where you don't know any other gay people, so I thought this would be really, really useful in a town like South Bend. And maybe it is, I don't know. But it sure is not useful in a city like New York.
Why not?
It's the paradox of choice, where there's, 5,000, you walk from here to the subway, there's 5,000 people that want to have sex with you, and you're just like overwhelmed by all of it, and you just say, I can't do it.
Well, one of the apps that I use, use is Foursquare and Yelp, and then I decided that I didn't like them. Well, Foursquare I don't know what went wrong with that.
What is Foursquare?
It was an app where you could find out what restaurants in your area were having specials, and sometimes if you went to certain restaurants, they would give you a free glass of wine if you checked in.
But didn't it also have to do with your friends going there or something?
Right. So it's like a social app where you would know where your friends are and who was the mayor of the place because you went there the most, and it was kind of fun, but then it just didn't become, then it turned into Swarm.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It was just, I didn't get it when it turned into Swarm, and I didn't like it, so I deleted that app.
They changed the name to Swarm?
Right, they somehow branched out, and you couldn't check in on Foursquare anymore, you had to use Swarm, and then I decided I didn't like Swarm, so I don't use either anymore.
They should combine a lot of these apps, I think.
Well, that's the problem with Foursquare then. Instead of combining, they separated, and then it just didn't seem, Swarm didn't seem useful to me, and Foursquare didn't seem that useful anymore, and I just stopped using both.
Yelp and Scruff would be really good together.
Yes, Yelp. Well, the thing about Yelp is, if you haven't noticed, is that everybody's always complaining on Yelp, so if you combine that with Scruff, then it would just be all people complaining about people that they had sex with.
Teeth marks.
Well, I hear you had a few teeth marks on Uber.
Oh, yes. Last night, coming home in Uber, do you know that they rate the riders, the passengers get rated?
Yes,
1 through 5? And when I got in the car...
If you're a bossy, demanding customer, they're not going to pick you up.
When I got in the car, he said, do you know that you're a 3.9? And I said, 3.9 what? He said, stars. I said, out of how many? He said, 5. I said, well, I just started using this app. Why would I have 3.9 out of 5? And he said, did you cancel or did you get in a fight with the driver? And I didn't. There was that one time that I complained about the price, but I mean,
That's it.
Well, that must be it. But anyway, so I said, well, what's your number? And his wasn't much better. It was 4.5. And I said, well, what's the cutoff point of like what, you know? And he said 4, he thinks is the cutoff point. But then he said, well, when you leave, if you promise to give me a 5, I'll give you a 5. So, you know, it's kind of, the whole system encourages collusion between the driver and the passenger to give each other 5s.
That's gaming the system.
Hey, give me 5.
Well, I wouldn't think that 3.9 on a scale of 5 is a bad score.
It's like an 80.
Right, that's a B.
Yeah, it's a B. Well, but you know,
above average.
I'm an overachiever, so I like to have an A plus extra credit. We used to have A plus in our school because you could get A plus extra credit. So
we'll be right back on that note.
And now a word from our sponsor. Welcome back to the Pew.
yeah, I should have because
Welcome back to
Welcome back to the Pew, where the bitches, as always, want to know, boy. They want to know. What do they want to know?
Seabear8509 wants to know what Brooke's drug salad consisted of. If you recall from the movie.
Oh, Brooke Humphreys, yes.
She had a drug salad, which I never actually tried because the first time we went to Dallas to meet her, I don't think she was actually tossing her drug salads yet.
No, she didn't do that until she moved to New York, Brooke Humphreys. Brooke Humphreys moved to New York in, I think, 1993, or something like that. And she began having after-hours clubs, parties at her house, where she would mix these salads. Wait a minute. No, she didn't. That was Olympia.
Oh.
Brooke never
A little
made
too much salad, I think.
Brooke never made salads.
She, in the movie Party Monster, offers the club kids a drug salad. Yet another inaccuracy.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Brooke offering a drug salad. Olympia offered the drug salad, so we would all go over to her house after the after-hour clubs, and what they actually were was Olympia would scrape the bottom of every vial of every drug that she had, or little pieces of Rohypnol or Xanax or whatever, and she would crush them into powder, and then she would mix them together. But there was a rhyme and reason to it. She would discern what the party needed. If people were very tired and it was late, she might put a lot of methamphetamine in it and maybe some cocaine and then less Rohypnol or Xanax. Or if people were feeling too jittery, she might, focus the thing on Xanax and some kind of down or Percocet or something, and with a splattering of Special K. But she always put flavoring and food coloring in it so that it tasted good. She would put, coconut flavoring or pina colada or strawberry, and then she would put food coloring in it to make it look the color of the flavor. And it was really delicious. I mean, would really taste like the flavor and leave you blowing
Good to the last snort.
Technicolor snot for the next 5 days. They were really delicious, these salads. And they worked.
So don't believe everything you see on Party Monster.
No, I never even caught that the first time I watched Party Monster. I never caught that they accused Brooke of...
And you haven't watched it since.
And I haven't watched it since. Okay. But I'm going to watch it again now to see how many of these ridiculous, outrageous, egregious...
mischaracterizations.
If
and that's not a drag queen.
If I was Brooke Humphreys, I'd sue.
See you next
Not
time.
World of Wonder, of course. Just sue.